Welcome to this MyPTS Time 2 tutorial for adding students to your caseload in the billing system. Please note that at the time this tutorial is being recorded, PTS is happy to be in the middle of an upgrade to our billing system by adding a new interface which will allow you to have a quicker and much user-friendly billing experience. During the time of the upgrade, you will see added to the toolbar beta timesheets and beta add new student. For as long as you see these on this toolbar, please use those to enter your billing by clicking beta timesheets, and to add new students, you will click beta add new student. Once the upgrade is complete, you will no longer see those on the toolbar, but will see timesheets and caseloads unless you are using a mobile device, in which case you may see an additional tab to add new students. In order to add students to your caseload, once you've already logged into the MyPTS Time 2 billing system, you will click Add New Student, and the first thing you'll need to do is enter the start date that you will begin billing for the student. Here you want to make sure you are in the month that you want to be in, and for billing and example's sake, we are going to select July 1st. The next thing you'll need to do is select the student's school. And what you'll see here is all of the schools associated with the building. And we're going to select Fernhill Elementary School. The next thing you'll need to do is select the student's status. And this is important to get right when you're adding the student, because it will directly affect how you are able to enter billing for the student. Students with an on-caseload status are students who are receiving consult or direct therapy, whether it's group or individual. On caseload is also for students who are receiving consults under supports to school personnel on their IEP. And the on caseload status is also for students who are Tier 3 RTII, which means they're receiving direct or group billing. It's ongoing direct intervention, mostly for OT or PT students who don't qualify for special ed, but not limited to. And this is, again, ongoing direct intervention for students who need the intervention after the screen, but don't qualify for service. The next type of status is referral. And referral status is for students who are receiving screens or evaluation. The last type of status is the early intervention, which is students that are not yet in the district, but who are just receiving an early intervention evaluation to determine eligibility for the upcoming school year, and to see if services are needed. So in this case, for, again, billing and example purposes, we're going to select on caseload. Then we need to fill in the student's information, and we are going to enter this student as first name on caseload, last name student. Actually, we're going to make the last name kiddo. And the date of birth is going to be 05/05/2014. And kiddo is in 10th grade. This is a male. Next, you'll need to enter the start date for the school. And this should be the first day of school for the current school year that you're in. If for some reason you do not remember that date, you can just select the first day of the month that you're in to enter the billing. But we are going, and so we'll just select July 1st, 2019. This homeschool field is not for all districts. However, if it is a requirement for the district you're entering billing for, you will know that at the time you're adding your students to the system. And then click continue. The system is now looking to see if the student is already in the billing system. Had the student already been in the system, or the system suspected the student was already in the system, you would see a screen that would explain that and ask you to enter another piece of information and click submit. When you click submit, what you're doing is sending all of the information you just entered into a notification that's generated and sent to admin, so that admin can add that student for you. Please allow 1 to 2 days for that to take place. And if after the second day or so you do not see your student on your caseload, please give Teresa Lyon-Smith a phone call, or email, and she'll be more than happy to assist. The next thing we would need to add is the therapist type, and this basically should always be primary unless you are a supervising OT, supervising a CODA, in which case you would select secondary, and if you are a PT supervisor, you may select secondary as well. Tertiary is generally only used if, for example, you were helping out a supervising OT who's already secondary, and so you would then make yourself tertiary. And ESY therapist type is selected only for therapists who are treating students during ESY, and it's for students that are not going to remain on your caseload for the upcoming school year. In this case, we're going to select primary. And the next screen that will generate is now we need to, because we selected an on caseload status. Whenever you select on caseload status, you must complete the treatment via field as well as the IEP 504 date field. And this is important because this is indicating whether the treatment is due to the discipline being on the service page of the IEP or 504, whether the student is receiving the ongoing intervention after a screen as a tier 3 RTII student, which again is generally somewhere around 6 to 8 weeks, and or whether this is a supports to school personnel consult only student, meaning they have consult on the supports to school personnel page of the IEP, but because we track that, this is also in the treatment via field. In this case, we're going to select IEP. The next thing you will need to have in order to successfully add the student to your caseload is the IEP start date. And this date should be either the day of the meeting, and occasionally people will select the day after the meeting, but it should be the day of the IEP meeting, no later than the day after. And we're going to select July 1st. This is where you will need to indicate whether the student is MA or not MA eligible. And for example's sake, we will select MA eligible and click continue. The next thing that is a requirement for all students being added to your caseload in the billing system is the placement. If nothing applies on the drop-down list for the placement field, select regular education. The next thing you'll need to enter whenever there is an on caseload status, you must enter the frequencies, and they should match what is on the student's IEP. And so this student has an IEP, and so individual, the repeat is going to be weekly. There's going to be one session, one 30-minute session every week. And the next frequency we need to complete is group. This student does not have group on their IEP, but if they did, you would follow the same steps to make sure the information that you enter matches what's in the IEP. And just for example's sake, group could be also weekly, one 30-minute session every week. And the last type of frequency that must be completed is consult. If consult is not on the service page of the IEP, you would select none. However, if this is a supports to school personnel consult only student that you're adding, you will want to put those frequencies onto the student detail page when you're adding the student to your caseload. If the IEP does not indicate the exact frequency, it's better to select the minimum of time you think that would be. And if you go over, that's fine, but at least you will be in compliance rather than to not put enough time and look like you're out of compliance. And so let's just say that the consults to support school personnel only for the student might be something like 1 45 minutes every, and instead of weekly, let's say that this supports is monthly. So it's 1 45-minute session every month. And then you can, clicking on one of the other ones allows you to see the summary of what you've entered. So consult If this was a supports to school personnel only student, would be something like one session quarterly or monthly for 45 minutes. And then once the frequencies are completed, you will click continue. Then you now see the summary of all of the information that you entered, and you want to make sure that this information is correct. If anything needs to be edited in the treatment field, you can edit this section by clicking this link, and in the estimated time and frequency field, you can edit that information. If you see that you've made a mistake with the student's name or date of birth or grade or school, in this box here where you don't see the edit this section link, you will need to send a direct email to Teresa Lyons-Smith at THERESA@PTS-Inc. or to your admin so that the information can be corrected in the billing system. And at this point, you now see the student has been added to your caseload. You want to use the edit links again if you need to change the information, or if you have another student to add, you can click add another student or go to timesheets and begin entering billing. We're going to add another student, and this time we're going to add a student with a referral status, because the information required for students with a referral status is different from a student with on caseload status. And to do a student with a referral status, you would simply, again, you must enter the start date, and this time we'll select July 4th, although that is a holiday. And the school we're going to select is Pierce Middle School. And this time the student needs a screen or evaluation to see if they qualify for service. And so we're going to select referral. We're going to enter the first name, and we're going to call this student first name referral, last name child, date of birth we'll say is July 15th, 2012, 11. And we'll say that the grade is 8th grade. This is a female. Start date for, again, this time I remember that it's the first day of school for the current school year, and that happened to have been September 4th, 2018. Again, the homeschool district is only required for certain districts. If it's a district that is required that you have to enter billing for, you would know that by the time you enter your billing, and you're going to click continue. The next thing you'll need to do, again, the system is looking to see if the student is already in the system. And we're going to select primary. Our information up top was correct. And as you can see, the student is now added to my caseload. And if I need to edit in the information, I could click the link to edit. However, because you can edit the via treatment fields and the fields for if the student was on caseload or the frequencies, which neither of those are required for students with a referral status, you'll see you don't see those here. So if there was an error or mistake made in any of this information, you would send that direct email to admin. And again, I could add another student or go to my timesheet. I would like to thank you for watching this tutorial, and best of luck to you.